Paper Flowers, a Sanderside's fanfiction, written and read by Love Living My Dreams. The reason to try. They were slacking. They were failing. It was all going wrong. Virgil was pulled out of his musings when he was tugged almost violently to the front of the mind. He found himself face to face with Thomas Patton, now wearing his cardigan, and Logan, dressed as Sherlock. The latter was the one who had called him forth. Rude? I was kinda busy, he huffed. Whatever it was can wait, anxiety. Thomas is struggling with his motivation and we are working down the list to locate the culprit, he explained. And you automatically landed on me, Virgil deadpanned. You do tend to tell Thomas not to do stuff a lot, kiddo, Patton offered helpfully. Virgil rolled his eyes. Must have taken you a lot of effort to come to that conclusion. Well, this explains the costume party, he mused. Of course, Thomas would imagine those two as Sherlock and Watson while trying to get to the root of this problem. There are some grounds to suggest that you are indeed the cause of Thomas procrastinating, Logan insisted, getting back on track and not commenting on the costumes. Virgil did not like this at all, but he was not going to show that. The accusation hurt just a touch. He thought Logan was maybe sort of cool with him at least. Well, I mean, I'm not saying I disagree, but what are those grounds? He asked. Maybe he could use Logan's reasoning against him to show that he wasn't to blame. Or at least he didn't think he was. He might be wrong, though. Thomas has related to me that he is anxious, he pressed the word to underline his point, about how his video will turn out. So rather than start it, he is avoiding it. Worrying about those things is your doing. Therefore, him putting off the doing can be reasonably led back to your actions, Logan explained. That was pretty sound. So Virgil let out a bemused chuckle and nodded. Avoiding things is my speciality, he allowed. And sure, it can be a bad video if you never make one, he mused. Thomas didn't really wait for him to give his counterpoint. Okay, so anxiety is making me freeze up. Can I do anything about that? He asked Logan. Oh, well, let Logan run into a wall and see what happens. Logan adjusted his glasses, feeling all smart and distinguished. This was going to be kind of fun to watch. I would say the first thing to do is to trust yourself that you have what it takes to do the project well, he offered. And then Patton joined in. Cool, two idiots running for the wall instead of one. Whatever comes, you have to allow yourself to make mistakes. Not everything can be perfect. It's all a growing process, he offered sweetly, though he glanced at Virgil firmly as he stressed the last bit. Virgil rolled his eyes. And when in doubt, remember that everything we do is all pointless anyway, he grinned sardonically, mainly at Patton, who cowered back a bit from his firm dad act. Bleak, but I appreciate you trying to contribute, Thomas said. That was nice of him. You're not welcome, he joked. Well, case closed, Logan announced proudly. Virgil quirked his brow. No, it wasn't. The performance anxiety was still strong. And Thomas's face told him he was right. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, sure, there's nothing really for me to be scared of, but I don't know. I'm still not feeling it, he confessed, much to the shock of the cosplayers in the room. Maybe, I can come back to this later? Well, now the procrastination was getting layers. Logan took this as a personal insult. Thomas, are you implying that logic was not sound? He demanded. We went over it. Anxiety is the perpetrator, he insisted. That actually hurt. I'm not always the bad guy, he insisted. Aw, of course not bad guy, Patton cooed, in that way adults had done when Thomas was little and they didn't take him seriously. Virgil had really hated it when they did that. He glared at Patton and then turned to Logan. I might make him avoid things that seem needlessly exhausting, but when it comes to videos, those can't be avoided. There's that little sub-counter of people who expect content. So not making a video is not an option, as much as I'd like it to be, he explained, making sure to lay on the this should be obvious even to a 5-year-old tone thick. Logan was undeterred though. He might even be more motivated to solve the crime than before. Of course, that would have been too obvious. There must be something else. He pondered. Other than me? Shocker, Virgil huffed. Logan was too busy musing to himself until he had this light bulb moment. Of course, he exclaimed. What is it? Patton was too excited to be part of this discussion. Logan seemed willing to indulge him and let him try and help deducing. What do you need to do a video? Logan prompted. A camera, Patton announced giddily, happy to have the chance to partake in the game. Logan, to his credit, didn't lose patience right away. He gave Patton, the excitable little airhead, another chance. Correct, but think more general. What starts you down the path on any big job? Patton was still bouncing, and still not even on the right path. A big job application! Why do I even try? Logan sighed. Virgil, meanwhile, did catch on what direction Logan was headed. He just hoped that Logan was wrong again. If Princey was struggling, he'd tell him, right? That was the point of the whole friendship thing. Right? Brains is talking about an ID, Pops. Thomas needs an ID, he pointed out. Logan looked up, pleasantly surprised that Virgil actually had a brain to use himself, it seemed. Ah, yes, he nodded, a bit taken aback. Virgil was going to try not to take that as an insult. And for one of those, he needs to be creative. So we're looking for fancy pants, he explained, slowly, so Patton could follow along. And just like that, Roman popped up, far more elegantly than Virgil had. You called? He smiled. Surprised we had to. Must have taken some effort to let others have the attention for so long, Virgil teased. Roman made a sign between a scoff and a chuckle. But playful lights in his eyes told Virgil that he was leaning towards amused more than anything. Logan skipped pleasantries altogether. Princey, you are in charge of bringing Thomas inspiration, he stated. He pointed at Thomas. What happened? He asked accusingly. He really was on some sort of power trip here, wasn't he? I'm sorry, what happened here? Roman asked. He must have been on an adventure in the imagination or something. Patton was unhelpfully helpful as usual. Logic and I are playing dress up and anxiety is making us question our existence, he said. And Thomas has not gotten started with his video yet, Logan added, getting back on the actual topic. And I have reason to believe you are the cause of our conundrum. Well, it was good to know he brought the same energy for Roman as he did for Virgil. That was something at least. Roman was undeterred by the accusation. Look, I'm out there living the fanciful dream, okay? He couldn't be struggling because of me, he insisted. Why am I the one put on trial here? He asked, eyes darting to Virgil. A silent, are you okay? Passed between them. Virgil smirked appreciatively. They already ruled me out, Sir Singalot, he teased. Roman's eyes went wide. Oh, I like that one. I'm going to use it now, he announced. Thomas got them back on track. I mean, basic ideas are one thing, but a good idea is what I struggle with, he pointed out. The elusive good idea. Nasty little buggers. Well, if it's not a perfect idea, it's not good enough. You don't want to put out anything but your best, Roman stated. Virgil bit his lip. He might be partly responsible for that impossible standard. He and Roman probably should work through that. But see there, Logan stated, again triumphant at finding the root of the problem. That's what a first drafts are for. It's better to start, get it done, and improve it afterwards. If you sit around waiting for inspiration to strike, consistency is unattainable, he explained. He had a point. Yeah, I do that, he agreed. Everyone could kind of feel Remus cackle at that, and Patton couldn't help a little giggle. Roman sighed. Well, I suppose you are right. I shouldn't be so picky, he allowed. Yeah, that has put me on some bad last minute situations before, Thomas agreed. My bad, Roman confessed regretfully. Virgil had back the urge to protest, to take the blame to himself. Roman wasn't used to being in the wrong like Virgil was. And he wasn't, because if he was, then Roman was struggling and Virgil hadn't noticed, and he failed miserably at the one thing he brought to their friendship. Okay, so I now just need to get started with an idea. But how do I get there? I still feel like putting this whole thing off, Thomas said, a bit defeated. Oh, thank God. Roman was just another step on the spiral, not the root. Virgil could live with that a little bit better, he supposed. Logan frowned, puzzled. Well, then, that means there's more to this than just Princey. He's just a pawn. Roman scoffed in regal offense. I am a knight, thank you very much, he objected. Virgil couldn't help a little smile at that. It's not like this is some big conspiracy. Why do I still feel so unmotivated? Thomas complained in frustration. Logan sighed defeated, also at a loss. This was getting a way too dramatic for Virgil's taste. It's like my heart's not in it, Thomas mused. Logan shut up, alert once more, staring at Patton. Ooh, never mind. Virgil could stick around just a bit more. Oh no, Logan muttered. What? Patton asked, completely oblivious to where Logan was headed. Virgil, on the other hand, was very tempted to get some popcorn. How could you do it? I trusted you, Logan said in shock. Patton was still at a loss. What's going on? Thomas wondered, a bit uncomfortable. Virgil, on the other hand, was very into this twist. Something good, he grinned. Thomas said it himself. His heart's not in it. You're basically his heart, Logan pointed out, and now everyone was definitely following where this was headed. Ooh, I like dramatic twists, Roman whispered. Right now? I do too, Virgil nodded. Now he could probably enjoy someone else being accused of wrongdoing for a change. Without you, Thomas lacks the passion to get creative and start his projects, Logan explains. Oh, wow, Thomas breathes, processing that for a minute. I don't need to, Thomas. I want to be into it, Patton promised frantically. Oh, sure, that would never work for Virgil, but of course Patton would immediately get a pass. Well, okay, if he's the culprit and you don't want to be, what can we do? Thomas wondered. I don't know, Logan said exasperately before turning to Patton. Why do you feel like you're lacking passion? He demanded. I don't know. Patton stammered uncomfortably. Logan sighed. Feelings, the bane of my existence. It's just that when I think about making a video, it's just this weird, mushy vision, Patton tried to explain awkwardly. Well, that's not good, Thomas said nervously. Yeah, this conversation was a big mess. But if past experience taught Virgil something, it needed to be a mess before it could get straightened out or whatever. It's almost like the whole vision isn't there to begin with, Patton added. Logan nodded impatiently. Well, yes, we established that in order to have a vision for a video, we need to encourage creativity to come up with a basic idea, he surmised dismissively. Patton shook his head, getting frustrated. No! Ooh, that was a rare sight. I mean, the whole vision of the creating process, Patton insisted. What? Logan asked aghast. This whole time we've been trying to get at the root of what causes procrastination. I think this could all be really helped by. Patton prompted, looking to Thomas, who was following along with Patton's train of thought. Making a plan to avoid procrastination, he realized. Well, who should have done that? Roman asked, glancing to the culprit in question. Me, Logan said without a second thought before it dawned on him. Wait! This is a bigger ending twist than the Oscars, Roman stage whispered towards Virgil. I- I'm the issue? But but I solve problems. How can I be the cause and the solution? Logan started muttering to himself in a downward spiral that made it impossible for Virgil to enjoy watching the logical side get a taste of shouldering the blame. Luckily, Thomas put a stop to it. Yes, I may have slipped up by not having you, logic, help me plan ahead for this situation. So many times I finish a project at 4 in the morning, my eyes tired, my brain exhausted, and I'm so proud of myself for doing so. I develop this faulty logic that I can tackle all my projects like that. But that is such a harmful habit to get into. I could have planned ahead, working at intervals and taking breaks in order to keep my spirits up. I could have gone to another more productive location with less distractions, like a library, might have helped me brainstorm and get in a little more creative. And a proper plan to address a big project would definitely cut down a lot of the nervousness I feel when starting it, Thomas offered. The others nodded in agreement with all those ideas. But Virgil had to remind Thomas that he was not getting rid of him that easily. But not completely, he pointed out. Thomas was not having it all, though. Spoil sport. But don't feel bad. We'll do better next time. And like morality said, we should be okay with forgiving ourselves because sometimes procrastination and mistakes happen. Yeah, sure. For everyone except Virgil, and Dremus, and Jay, and well, that didn't matter anymore. Virgil had left that life behind. He hadn't heard anything from the others since his fallout with Janice, so he kinda assumed that he was not wanted around by anyone downstairs anymore. And that was fine. He didn't care. Yeah, yeah. All that matters is that we put our noodles together and made beautiful pasta salad. Virgil rolled his eyes. You never suspect yourself. But okay, a plan shall be formulated for the next video. That is certain, Logan promised. Well, seems we weren't needed after all. See ya, losers, Virgil huffed as he bowed out. Sir Sing-a-lot signing out, Roman sing-songed as he followed Virgil to the meadow. That was a lot of fuss for something they could have done without us, he complained as he sat down, leaning back on his hands and staring at the clouds. It was soothing watching them pass by. Indeed, but it was not a total waste. It makes for a good video idea, Roman mused as he summoned some writing supplies to start editing the conversation to have more jokes and flow better as a video. Hmm, Virgil replied noncommentarily. Then he chuckled. You know that Logan basically said that all your ideas are good ideas, right? Roman perked up. He did? He asked. I mean, that's how I understood it, Virgil muttered. Like, with some polishing. Like a diamond in the rough kind of thing, he said. It was so against his nature to say something quite that optimistic. But Roman might feel a bit down on himself after feeling like he was making things too difficult for Thomas, and that was partly Virgil's fault at the very least. He should try to make him feel better. He should try to be better. Roman was worth that much. He was worth it to try. Roman hummed and Virgil caught his smile from the corner of his eye. Just seeing that softened something inside him. They sat in silence for a while as Roman wrote some more things down before mirroring Virgil's position, looking up at the sky. Virgil wasn't surprised that Roman looked good for him in this light. He always did. He was pretty much the manifestation of everything Thomas had ever liked about himself. Being the ego had its perks. Virgil's gaze landed on Roman's hand, and he could feel his own tingle with the memory of holding it. He redirected his gaze to the clouds. Stupid pattern and his stupid prank. I've got a great idea the fanders are going to go crazy about, Roman said all of a sudden, breaking Virgil's train of thought. Oh? He asked curiously, more than happy not to spiral now down the path he was heading for just now. And Roman, of course, was happy to ramble on about his next brilliant idea. Last episode was fun. You were chatting with one of your mutual vendors on Tumblr about possible names for the other sites now that you were made aware that Logic was actually called Logan. Of course, you also discussed the hints at the dynamics between the different sides. Princey and Anxiety seemed to have some kind of thing between them, and you couldn't help but ship them so hard. Not that Logan and Morality weren't absolutely adorable in their little cosplay dynamic thing. That was your main topic of conversation right now, actually. Suddenly, your friend sends you a bunch of explanation points. You ask them what's going on while opening a few tabs to check Thomas's social media to figure it out yourself. Your friend was quicker. Thomas is doing a Q&A for the sites, they told you. Oh, you had questions, all right. This was going to be so cool. And so, yeah, next week we should have the chapter for the Q&A episode. Uh, as of recording, I haven't written much on it yet. I might be mostly finished by the time this goes up, though. But that doesn't mean that I can't add in some questions if you think of some. So don't feel shy. Drop some questions down in the comment section, or just your thoughts on the story in general. I hope to see you next week. If I finish it by then. Uh, Take care. See you later. Bye.